What's going on, family? All I want to know is who said get your libations and hand sanitizers. What's wrong with y'all? See, that's why y'all act up about the corona. Anyway, we do what we can. Anyway, fam, hit that like button. Hit that like button for me. I'd appreciate it. Please hit that bell. I know half the time the bell don't work. I don't know why the bell don't work. I have no idea, but hit the bell anyway. It costs you no money. If you want to donate, go to donatebrown.com, or you can go to patreon.com/ycarnell. You can do all of that, but you can go subscribe to brown.com. Like I say, subscribe to Brown, and you can give me your email address. No money. You can hit that like button. Cost you nothing. If you want a shirt, go to adosmerch.com. A bunch of those going out this week. If you haven't gotten yours, well, not a bunch, like 10. So, let's see, what else do we have? Oh, book club. Please do not forget on March the 26th, that is this month, for those of you who are working hard and a little confused, please do not forget The Color of Money, Black Banks and the Racial Wealth Gap. We will be discussing that. You hopefully are reading that now. Today is the 9th, so you have time because it's a fairly quick read. So don't think that, oh, I haven't gotten started, I don't have time. Family, I don't have it. You do. Calm yourself, cool your engines. You do have time. So I just wanted to say that. Let me get this straight really quickly. Okay, now we cooking with grease. Okay, fam. Anything else I missed out, fam? Did I miss out anything else? Okay, let's get started. It's sometimes, fam, you have to just kind of think about the fact that you live in interesting times, and we live in interesting times right now. Very, very interesting times, fam. Very, very interesting times to be alive. And one of the most interesting things I say as I frame this about the interesting time to be alive is that I saw something I never thought I'd see. All of a sudden, we ADOS, American Descendants of Slavery, the institution, we have been talking about an ADOS agenda which is the reparations agenda, and the black agenda that is all encompassing. We have had this conversation. We have begged people to come with us and be a part of this conversation. We have said we are the bedrock of the Democratic Party. Please come with us. Please listen to us. We invited everybody to the conference and nobody want to listen. Everybody said, no, 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 no. Y'all are a bunch of xenophobe, loudmouth, flappy, loosey-goosey people we don't want to be bothered with. And all of that kind of stuff. But then all over a sudden, something very interesting happened. We saw a bunch of people start to adopt the language of ADOS and what we've been saying, even though they had contradicted that language when they were in a different space. Even though then they say, I've been saying this. No, you didn't. You contradicted that. So let's just read some of the wisdom. We should have these every Monday or something, like the wisdom of Bree Newsom. So Bree Newsom Bass. So Black American is an ethnicity. Y'all insist on pretending there's never been a distinct culture of people held captive here who were once referred to as Negroes and who weren't considered American for the majority of the nation's existence. I consider African American to be interchangeable with Black American, but prefer Black because it identifies a specific experience within the diaspora and the system of white supremacy. Now, haven't we been talking about having a very, very, very specific? Who has been talking about specificity? I love people come along and said, no, I was doing this all the time. No, you weren't. As a matter of fact, you came when we said that's what it is. You said that that's not who you were. But let's just show this real quick, because you have to understand. Black American refers to the descendants of enslaved people who were called Negro. That's what you just said there. We're coined 24 years ago by Jesse Jackson. People from the continent typically refer to themselves as Nigerian American or by their ethnic group. We are not solely descended from Africans. Oh, wait a minute. We're not solely descended. Who said that? Who said that we're an amalgamation? That we're an amalgamation of both slave and slave master. Who said that we're a distinct group? Huh? What are you talking about? Now, before Bernie, ain't nobody going around saying everybody trying to erase ADOS. You said something very different. As a matter of fact, you tried to, in a way, you tried to kind of erase us. You said that you didn't want to be called ADOS, and nobody asked you. Nobody asked you anything. Let me see if I can find that. Nobody asked you whether you wanted to be called ADOS or whether you wanted to be ADOS, because that's just who you are. But you just said, don't refer to me. I don't want to be referred to as that. Let me see if I can get it. This thing. I don't want to be referred to as ADOS. That's not really. That's not who I am. Now, first of all, I'm always suspicious when people come and tell you stuff and you ain't asked them, right? I didn't ask you who you were, what you wanted to be referred to as. I didn't ask you none of that, but all of a sudden, here you come. You bring this in here. Hold on 1 second, fam. Bring this in here the last little bit. People just talk. People just be loud and talking and wrong. I just decided. Because this is what you were saying before. Let's bring this on up. Now, mind you, we never said anything about pure Black, but here you were, Bree. Nothing can make you a pure Black American to genetically distinguish you from other Africans. Wait a minute, you just said that we're not just, you just said something else. You said we are a distinct group, but now you're saying nothing can make you pure Black American. ADOS never said anything about pure Black American, but it seems to me now all of a sudden you're agreeing without talking about the people who you're agreeing with. The white man who raped your grandmother. That's not, but we always said, Bria, it was not about just DNA. Now you seem to understand. I don't understand what goes on in the minds. Can somebody tell me that? What goes on for you to make that, for all of a sudden for you to come around? Because you didn't want to. That's not what you wanted to do. You specifically said, I am not ADOS. I don't know why I cannot find that little clip right now. You know how it is. Every time you're looking for something and you need it, it's the same way. You can't find it. You cannot find it. You need it and you can't find it. The minute the show is over, I will find it. But that's just life. Let me see. Oh, where's this one? That's not the one. But I think, do y'all remember when she said this stuff? When she said what she said about I'm not ADOS. Don't conclude me in that. And nobody asked her if she was ADOS. Now you're going back and you're saying a whole different thing. You are saying we're a specific group. And you understand our specific justice claim. Now, it's funny that a lot of these turnabouts are coming around during the time after Bernie done lost his stuff. So everybody was trying to be class-based. Everybody was trying to, and I'll find that during the break if I don't find it now. But everybody was trying to be class-based, and all of a sudden we understand that we are. And so you lost because you didn't talk to the ADOS people. You didn't say that we were ADOS. Well, you didn't either, Bree. You didn't say nothing about what you're talking about now. All of a sudden, everybody's had a come to Jesus moment about who we are and what we're supposed to have and what our justice claim is. We got a whole come to Jesus meeting all of a sudden out of nowhere. Where'd that come from? How did we get here? Because if I remember correctly, before all of this, Bree and everybody else, y'all were talking about DACA. DACA to the wall. The immigration issue in the U.S. is an issue of racism. Listen to Toni Morrison. Pardoning Arpaio, who is notorious for racial profiling, attacking DACA, are part of a single agenda motivated by anti-Latinx sentiment. The Trump administration wants to hang a white sign only on the Statue of Liberty. They can't. The Statue of Liberty ain't even about them, Bree. It's about us. It ain't about immigrants. It's about us. You don't know your history. You don't know your history. They can't. So they're passing a bunch of measures designed to shut down non-white immigrants to the USA as much as possible. There's no way you can see Stephen Miller's presence in the White House and not see that. Well, I can see racism all day long, but what I'm saying to you, and what I'm saying to all of these people, is that we see how you have what do I say before about advocacy being a drumbeat? It is a drumbeat. You have to stay on that path. You have to stay on that road. You have to be advocating with specificity. You can't be all over the road talking about people of color. You can't say that. See, this is what she said. Hold on a second. Let me bring this up a little bit bigger so everybody can see it, because I want to make a case here. Sometimes you just got to build a case for why stuff is stupid. This is why I have to prevent myself from slapping U.S. citizen people of color who swear that immigration issues has nothing to do with us. Do y'all understand that structural racism means our citizenship and our rights are never secured in a nation run by white supremacists? I also understand something else. We all understand as ADOS that the problem that we have, and we have lived under the yoke of white supremacy. But I also understand what it means to have my vote diluted and to put me into a group of everybody who has melanin. I understand how that diminishes and devalues the contribution of my group to this country. Do you understand that, Bree? Do you understand that I am not a person of color? That's not who I am. That's not who we are. And here's one of the biggest mistakes of them all, since we're going down the list. This is not about immigration. This is about skin color. For folk oppose immigration specifically from nations and regions where people have dark or brown skin tones. Let me tell you why that's stupid. You know who gets the most H-1B visas? And when we talk about who's heading up Silicon Valley, that's Indian Americans. Indian Americans are darker than me for the most part. The ones I see most often are darker than me. But I'm a bottom cast of ADOS, right? We have a lot of light skin or light brown skin. We have a lot of ADOS people who are lighter than Indians. It's not about skin tone. Stop saying stupid stuff. There's a reason why they can come here and access whiteness as brown people and we can't. You got to understand that. If you don't understand that, put your microphone down, put your Twitter fingers down and find something else to do. And if you have understood that by whatever grace of God or strike of wisdom or whatever show of mine you watched or Antonio's you watched, if that you did that, that's fine, but you got to stay on that square. I don't need you just coming to all the squares. That's what we do. She just come to, I'm on this square today, and tomorrow I'm on this square. And I'm going to be on this square. Somebody said, Indian, the CEO of Google. Yeah. It's not about skin tone. If it was about skin tone, they couldn't come here and be successful. If it was about skin tone, you couldn't come here as an Indian American and be successful. What you're saying is stupid. And it was stupid when you came out of nowhere and said, I am not ADOS. I don't know who put a battery in your back to say that, but you should feel real stupid given what you just said. Now, I'm not telling you not to stay on that square. You should. You absolutely should stay on the square that you at. And the square that you at means that you can't just say that we're different. People got to start talking with their whole chest. Don't be a coward, Bree. If you're saying that we're ADOS and we're a bottom caste and we've been made a consistent bottom caste by white supremacy, you got to end with reparations. Don't stop short with me. You got to end where you end. And where you end is reparations. You can't be like, well, we here and we are a group and we have been oppressed the most and we need a specific agenda. And that no, you got to go and what that agenda means. You got to go all the way. See, that's what I'm tired of. I'm tired of being the only person who goes all the ways. Me and Antonio and all of my ADOS family. That's it. No, you the one tore down the Confederate flag. That's a flag that represents everything that we've been through. That's a flag that was flown high. And because that flag was flown high, we didn't get reparations. You gotta put your name on the line for it. Or else that stuff you mean don't mean jack. That stuff you said, that stuff you tweeted don't mean nothing if you don't mean it. You got a heart or nah? You got a spine or nah? This is where we are. Like this just happens to be a moment that you're born into that demands courage. You're born into a group that commands courage. You got it or nah? That's all I need to know because I'm not seeing a lot of it. And it's not just you. I don't want to make it seem like it's just Bree. I don't want to make it seem that way because it's not. Let me go to somebody else who was talking, and we're gonna get to a very specific Indian American, well, descended from Indian Americans in a minute. But let's not jump. Let's not get froggy. Let's stay right here for a second. And let's go to somebody else who all of a sudden decided that they was going to see things differently. Now we got Reverend Dr. Barber. Says everyone is I think he means talking about the importance of the black vote. I hope every candidate will detail how their policies will close the black wealth gap. It's really a lineage wealth gap, but I understand. Address black poverty and low wealth, ensure black health care, and defend against racist voter suppression. All right. Well, again, that sounds real good right now, right? But in order for that to happen, you would have needed to start doing that when ADOS started doing that. You would have, see, Barbara, Reverend Barbara, all due respect. I remember you when Marion Williamson was with you at that event and she was talking about reparations and you weren't. You the black man in the room. You talking about all people and this white woman floats in the room and starts talking about us and reparations and all y'all winced. You didn't even want her to talk about it. Oh, you didn't want her to talk about it. And you didn't talk about it as a black man. Oh, be Christ-like, Barbara. When you're talking about the most downtrodden, that's us. Don't try to be everything to everybody. If you want to try to be everything to everybody, that's not what we're about. Because don't talk about, well, we got to show up and we got to do the right thing because I'm a Christian. I got to do the right thing for everybody. Well, I think what you should do, you should call on those people who haven't shown up to Parchment. Okay, if we're going to be there and we all going to be there for each other based on melanin, which is stupid. But if we're going to do that, then I need to know. We just had an execution of a black man. We know he didn't do it. He didn't do it. I need to know why you haven't told those people and demanded of them to stand up for us. I need to know why you haven't talked to your Latin friends and your poor white friends at the people's movement. I need to know why you haven't called on them to be there with us in solidarity. How many of your friends showed up at Parchment? Did you ask them to? Did you say, y'all need to show up for us the way we show up for you? Nah, you just said, you probably just did like your boy Clyburn. Nobody is interested in getting anything for free. Who says that? And it's not free. Reparations isn't That's not free. This is a debt that's owed. I'm tired of these people clapping out there like, I ain't nobody want nothing for free. I've always been a shoe shine man. I shine good shoes, and I ain't never asked for $1. I shine your shoe for $1, but I ain't never asked for one. I'm a good shoe shine man. I just don't understand what you think you're doing. All of you. Who do you think you're advocating for? Who? You see, and somebody will say, like, even if you go outside of the theological perspective, someone will say, well, you know, it's just the right thing to do, and we can do it, and we can't. Remember this chart when somebody tells you it's the right thing to do. We're economically dead. We're economically dead. And when somebody says the white wealth is 20 times that, is 20 times that of blacks and Hispanics, understand. When you're talking about Hispanics, you're mixing in people you who are first generation, second generation, just got here. You're mixing all those people in with people who built the country who were here 400 years. We should not be on that bottom. But the point is, when you're on that bottom, you can't spend your time advocating for the sake of advocating, and you surely cannot do anything without solidarity. And y'all spend so much time. I mean, when you think about it, you actually want to be sad, because we have been fighting for citizenship for 400 years. We don't have it. Not full citizenship. That's what this chart shows you. But instead of fighting for the people who've been here 400 years to have citizenship, making that your priority, not saying anything wrong about anybody else, but you have for too long made DACA a priority for you. You have used Martin Luther King's legacy for DACA instead of specifically using it for us. If King were alive now, this is Reverend Dr. William Barber. If King were alive now, he would be standing with DACA and all immigrants. He would challenge the tax reform bill that transferred $2 million from the poor to the wealthy. He would be dealing with health care, blah, blah, blah. Understand, nowhere in there does he deal with us with any specificity. What about us specifically, sir? You're a black man. Don't stand there and talk like a black man with the cadence of a black man, with the history and the rich culture of a black man, and not be a black man. And when I say not be a black man, I mean everything that means. You know the history. You come from that family. You know what that is. You know what that's like. I need race people. I don't need these all over people of color, every poor people. And then the white left kills me, because y'all don't even represent poor white people. Like, shut up. You little hipsters who read Marx and do all that stuff. You don't represent nobody in Appalachia. You don't represent poor white people. You don't represent them. If you talk to them, they don't know nothing about what you're talking about with your little fancy boots and your little beard and your little high cost or high price plaid shirt on. They don't know nothing about what you're talking about. You done stole somebody else's poverty and kind of like and put yourself in their identity. You put on the identity of a poor white person without actually being one. You shut up too, white left. All of these frauds on the right, frauds on the left, everybody just a fraud. And now they want to talk about a black agenda. No, we don't have a black agenda, because you spent the last 3 years talking about a DACA agenda and just a poor people's agenda. You don't know how to be a race man. Oh, you talk good. You preach a good sermon, sir. But you don't preach my sermon. You don't talk for me. You don't talk for the least of us. There's only one group that has contributed as much as we have and has remained on the bottom. That's one group. This group is the least of us. If you believe in Christ and you're going to preach about the least of us, that's us. And you are of us and won't talk specifically about us. That's a shame. It is a shame. You talk about people from developing countries and you don't understand that at least they get to send money back home that is worth more, right? That is worth more, and that money stretches. That dollar does more. You talk about them and you put them first and talk about what they need. You don't talk about us with any specificity, but your political capital comes out of you being a black pastor. Oh, that's a shame. I could write my own sermon about that's a shame. People really ought to be ashamed of themselves. Listen to the directly impacted, documented, aren't only fighting to defend DACA. They're standing for all 11 million undocumented Americans. Your claim to fame, sir. And I called it out. I called it out a while ago. This is 2018. I told you, you had time to switch up. You just didn't. I said, it's interesting that Reverend Barber is using King's legacy to advocate specifically for DACA immigrants as opposed to the group MLK advocated for, African Americans. Aren't we the real dreamers? I didn't see no change. It's not like you didn't know. You just chose not to do anything differently. You knew. You just chose. You made a choice. And so now we're here. You could have made a choice to tell Bernie to do something different. You could have made a choice to do something different in how you advocate. You chose not to. And so now you chose not to tell churches to. Even people, let me say, the hardest part is even people I respect, because I can disagree with people that I respect. Let me tell you, I absolutely love what Eddie Glaude has been saying lately. I love it. I think he's absolutely right. When he said on this segment, I think it was MSNBC, he said, I don't give a damn if Joe Biden knows us. I want to know what the policies are. I don't want empathy. I don't want folk hugging on me. I want policy. He's absolutely right. And that's why I respect that brother. He's right. He's smart and he's right. But the problem is he too went about it the wrong way. Advocacy is a drumbeat. You can't talk about us on Monday, somebody else on Tuesday, and somebody else on Wednesday, because they're not doing that for us. But not only that, we're too far on the bottom. We can't do it. And when you infuse, listen, I'm not saying about what is right or wrong. When we talk about like what we do, it's about numbers too, right? We already don't really have citizenship. So we're looking at a space where now we don't have like political power, right? Because you're cutting out the floor when you bring in like immigrants from different places that are underdeveloped. The floor is dropped because they come from, if you're coming from Honduras without the violence or whatever, a really poor place, what happens is you'll do anything. You'll do anything. Well, I need certain protections, but I'm operating in a space. Remember that chicken farm that fired all the black people and hired all the immigrants? Nobody wants to talk about how do we navigate this? What is this? This is a problem for us. And then you have, when Glaude said this, and this is something else, it was just like, if your pastor fails to preach a prophetic word about the Muslim ban or the evils of our day this morning, get up and leave the sermon. This is your cross, though. I respect Glaude, but this is the cross, the Muslim ban. We don't have the money to be American. Like when you go and you see the cost of things, it doesn't mean like, oh, everything is so expensive. No, we just don't have the money to be here. That's what that means. We don't have enough to be here. I don't need a mind as brilliant as Glaude's, as Dr. Glaude's, advocating about getting up out of church for the Muslim ban and about DACA. I know how many of you are you're theologians, but I think your theology is kind of wrong-headed in the sense that you should be demanding justice from other groups in terms of what they owe us, because we paved the way for you to be here. What are you going to do for the bottom of this country? You owe it. You owe something here for those who are already here. And you have to have a somber moment with yourself about what it means to flow in groups that are going to compete with people who are on the bottom. And that's us. What about justice for us? What does that look like? And I need you. There's no reason for you to be on TV if you're not going to do that. If you're not going to do that, I don't even know why I got to show up to watch. I don't know why. What's the point? I don't understand. I'm just putting it out there and doing the calls. Y'all can tell me if I'm right or wrong, if you're indifferent or whatever. We got time, but I just don't get it. And so something else happened today. You know, a lot of things happen today, actually. But when we talk about solidarity, it's very interesting. It's very interesting when you hear people talk about brown people and what I said about the CEOs of Silicon Valley and so on and so forth. So there was an interesting thread today too. Tiffany Cross, which goes in the same line of solidarity and how we're going to navigate being ADOS and still being on the bottom after 400 years and building the country. Okay. And I don't know if you all, Cross is on MSNBC a lot as a commentator. And she took issue with something that Anand Girdadas, I think I got that right, said. So let me just put this up for you. So Anand writes, that's his Twitter handle, says everyone on cable need, I think she meant network, I don't know, is prosperous. So he said that like he's never sat next to a person who's uninsured, and he's never sat next to an uninsured person. And for you all who don't know Anand, he's on MSNBC a lot too. He helped get Chris Matthews of Hardball fired, basically. He's never sat next to an uninsured person on the air. He and I have shared the screen together. He gets paid to appear on MSNBC. I do not. I'm uninsured, have no steady income, and grew up below the poverty line. Now, here's some personal news. It's time to invent new forms of TV news for new times, questioning rather than buttressing power. I'm going to need your help in shaping this experiment and blah, blah, blah. So apparently he's got a new opportunity. He got a whole show. Anand got a whole show. Now he's brown, but he got a whole show. He's brown. He comes from a wealthy family, but he's brown. Bree, he's supposed to be on the bottom, right? It's all about melanin, ain't it? But Tiffany goes on to tell her story about her life. My mother still lives below the poverty line. I've shared the green room with people who echo the same myopic perspectives from the chattering class. They're celebrated and elevated and paid well. They have shows and lucrative contracts. I speak my truth for free and juggle bills. Now, hold on a second. Let me go back here. To support my family, I began my career in cable news 20 years ago. It's still the same. I navigate all communities of color. I hate that language, all communities of color. We are not crayons. Stop saying that, people. Say I negotiate Latin communities and I negotiate ADOS communities and I negotiate Asia. Say all of that, but don't throw us in that boat. Stop. I can't take that anymore. I navigate all communities of color. I deal with white media elites. I'm around the working class. I am the working class. It informs my analysis. Anand, nice to meet you. That was kind of cute. And he's going to this show where he gets to do something in Vice and an Outsiders Network and whatever. I don't know how much I care to read this to y'all. I thought I might during the show, but I don't really care. But there are several points to this, right? There are several points to this. I think you have to understand who Girdadas is to really, like, you have to really go back, right? This was in the Financial Times, and it's a bit about him, because you have to understand. If you don't understand who he is, that's who she's talking about. That's Anand, right? That picture in the back is really something, ain't it? So, here's what he says about himself. Now, mind you, his parents were first generation. He says, I'm from a privileged background, admits Girdadas. This is a book that grew out of familiarity. His parents were first generation immigrants from India. His father became a partner at McKinsey. If you all don't know, that's a premier a firm. I once had a Facebook friend who had a daughter there who that's all they talked about. It was annoying. But his father became a partner at McKinsey, his mother a homemaker and ceramicist. After studying at Michigan, Oxford, and Harvard, Girdadas watched his activist friends work for consultancies, banks, and so on and so forth. His father, and this is not in there, but his father was a Tamil Brahmin. When have we heard it before? We heard it with Kamala, right? Brahmin from that elite class who had made his way to America via higher education. That is the most elite caste, and she had the, that's the most elite cast. So who shoehorns us together? Bree had the audacity to shoehorn us into that group. This is an elite cast. These people, let me tell you something. And I'm not talking about who you need in terms of solidarity, but you got to have terms of solidarity, because Anand seems to be, to me, pro reparations, but you got to have terms. You can't shoehorn me in with this elite white man. You're like, what do you mean, Yvette? He's brown. No. Stop telling me this man is a brown man. Yeah, in terms of Crayola. But this man has accessed whiteness in a way that we were locked out of years ago. That's a white man. I don't care. You can call it what you want to, because whiteness is not about lack of melanin. It's about normalization in America. That is a white man. See, because if you don't call him a white man, what happens is eventually he'll be on TV talking about whether or not we give reparations, and white people won't know the difference. They'll be like, oh, well, he's a person of color and he felt this way. Don't you come over here with that. Don't give me that people of color garbage. You came over here as an elite. You lived in a good neighborhood. You went to, what did you move to? Let me put that in here. Negroes in this country built the rich country where ain't never been nowhere, and you was flying all around the world. Flying everywhere. That's his new job. Let me see. I got to find it, because he was everywhere. Like an elite family that just got to live their best life. He admits he was privileged. He says he was steeped in an elite culture. He is critiquing the elite culture. He is critiquing. Feared his book would make him unpopular. And here's where he went. Here we go. Here we go, right here. Girdadas seems like a man who has rarely been afraid. He is eloquent and confident, as some as befits someone whose 2 TED Talks have more than 1 million views each. He grew up in Shaker Heights, Ohio, famously one of the most racially integrated suburbs. When he was 7, his family found that the adrenaline rush of being an immigrant had kind of crashed. So they moved to Paris. Oh my goodness, that must be nice. Ain't that must be nice? Y'all just up and moved to Paris because y'all felt like it. Y'all wasn't special enough. You was immigrants, but you didn't feel special enough no more. So you up and left. If only we could. If only we could. You might be well-meaning, Anand, but you don't understand American blackness. You don't understand who we are and why we can't move. We can't up and move to Paris. We're a bottom caste. Let me tell you something. See, if you don't understand American blackness, you don't understand ADOS. You don't understand America. And if you don't understand America, then you shouldn't be on TV talking about America. If you don't understand us, and you don't, because you were able to move to Paris and fly, you went back to India, you wrote a book about that, and you didn't do good when you was at McKinsey. You stayed there less than, when you say someone less than a year, you usually are a mess up. You didn't do good, but you had a wealthy family. So whatever, you top caste. You the white people of India. Don't come here and try to tell me you brown. Right? So I'm tired of these elites. Like he's always talking about, I grew up, I'm going to criticize elite because I'm one of the elites. No, I'm tired of elites all together, Anand. You're top caste. You're the white people of India. Don't come here and be brown. Right? You don't understand America. Like, how does he get paid? Please understand this. Please hear what I'm saying. How does he, I want y'all to think about this. I'm going to bring up something else. But how, like, understand that she, who, she doesn't get paid. Like, Tiffany Cross doesn't get paid. Tiffany Cross is anchored in America in a way that a nun never could or would be. See, this is why being American matters. This is why it matters, because we are anchored in this in a way that family that goes back generations in this country. We understand America. We have a memory of this country, right? Social is in our lineage. We are more American than apple pie, baby. And so who you pay to be on TV to really speak about America, you can't find nobody better than us. How do you teach somebody who is not in touch and really doesn't understand blackness, and you don't pay an ADOS person? Don't make no sense. See, you're paying this person, but this person comes from that elite. They come from elite caste. Same as Kamala. They probably, they understand each other. Right? How? I'm trying to figure out where this happens. See, we have allowed and we run around, so he don't even understand. My dude don't even need the money like that. He got books and everything. He still get paid. She don't get paid. American as apple pie, built the country and you get paid. See, it shouldn't be. See, we have allowed this thing to go wrong. It shouldn't be about whiteness and blackness as much as it should be about American and not American, in the sense of, not that you discriminate against anybody, but in the sense of, like, how anchored are you in this country? When we're talking about who gets to speak and who gets what, how anchored are you here? Okay, love you. American is a place where we welcome, but you're not me. You're not me. So in terms of the hierarchy, I'm here. You shouldn't be here, and I'm here, and I got to talk to you. And I got to explain my life to you, and your parents are first generation, but I got to explain my life to you. Who are you? Who are you to be a gatekeeper and show up on MSNBC in your little leather jacket and pretend to understand the poor? You don't. You don't even understand Appalachia, so I know you don't understand ADOS. Or you wouldn't have said what you said. But then there's some consequences. There are some consequences also for and you have to say it, for people, for Tiffany Cross and people like her, right? Because you all show up everywhere looking like new money. I just do the best I can. But y'all show up everywhere looking like brand new money, laughing and talking, and you don't tell the truth about. Salute to you, Tiffany, though, because today you told the truth about yourself. Don't let it stop. Don't start smiling and giggling all over again. See, because the Tiffany I need on the MSNBC circle table, I need this Tiffany who told the truth today. I don't need you going back doing armchair politics as usual, pretending like you everybody else who on that stage when you ain't. I need the woman who put out that tweet. I need everybody to get honest. And if you can't get honest, I don't need you on MSNBC. Let me tell you what I need. I don't need you on any stage or any show projecting black success when you ain't successful. And that's why people always tell me, like, Yvette, why don't you get on MSNBC? Yvette, you could get hooked up. These Negroes ain't hooked up, and I know it. They're not hooked up. Understand what Anand's family did. They waited until like the 70s after the Immigration Act had been passed, when we talking about Lyndon Johnson, and it made it easy for brown people, and it came over here. Everybody be moving. We don't be thinking. We don't be moving. His family was moving. Oh, I'm finna go take advantage of this. They be moving. That's what his family did. Our family was already here, couldn't do that. That's what his family did. Tiffany's mama is still poor. His family was able to navigate over here, take advantage of everything over here, and catapult over us. And now we got to talk to you about how you don't understand that we still poor. By what right? I don't understand. I don't understand what we're doing. And I don't understand what the people who are speaking for us in media are doing or saying. I don't get it. I don't understand it at all. None of this makes sense to me. Now, maybe it makes sense to y'all. I don't know. If it does, you can tell me. You can tell me if it makes sense to you. I want to hear about it. I want to hear about it. Let me bring up another chart really quick. Some stuff just don't make sense, and we just live it like it's normal. Y'all have seen this chart, but let me bring it up one more time. Hold on one second. Bring this chart up real quick. This is the I want you to look at these wealth levels for me. And I want you to look. We see the white, we see the US black. These are liquid assets in one column. You see total assets in the column over. And I want you to look as we go down, look at African black at 60,000. This is this is what the color of the wealth. This is value of assets held by white and non-white households. And this is the LA color of wealth, right? The chart is LA color of wealth. And I want you to let's go down the list. You see Japanese. Now you see median value, total assets, liquid assets. Let's go over to the total assets, because we don't, normally we talk about the liquid assets. Let's go over to the total for a second. Now I want you to look at other Latino, that's 43. Look at Chinese, that's 408, 408,000. Japanese, 595,000. Korean, 28,000. Asian Indian. Look at the very bottom for me at Asian Indian. That's 460,000. I want you to look at US black. That's 30,000. Now go back over to the median value real quick. Oh, no, you can go back over there and it's 245. But I want you to, we got 200. Now, if you understand who we are and what we built in this country, when you go to Asian Indian, y'all see that on the bottom. That's the very bottom. That 245 in one column is median value, and you go to the next column of median value is 460. When we talk about percentage of when we talk about liquid assets and so on and so forth. Oh, let me bring this down. This isn't down far. Is this down far enough? I can't see it on my. Oh, it's just my laptop. Sorry. Let me bring this down a little bit. I think we know the number, but we don't know what this number means. See, when you see liquid is actually, that's money. That's money. That's not your house. That's money. Look at the liquid assets column. That's money. Look at that. I want you to look at that. Look at that 245 at the bottom for Asian Indian and that $200 for blacks in LA. And I want you to understand what that means for us. Right? You have to get it. We don't get to. That's why they went. That's why you get to. That's why you go to Paris. And that's why you went to Paris or whatever. And I think that number undervalues some stuff, but that's a whole different thing. But that's why you was in Paris and doing whatever, and and that's why what Brie Newsom says is stupid. Well, it's all about skin tone. No. Anand is dark. He's darker than me. And he's darker than a lot of ADOS. And there are a lot of Indians who are darker than a lot of us, and they have access whiteness. You can access whiteness as a brown person. So stop with this skin tone talk, because you're confusing everybody. And we don't have the luxury right now of being a confused group. We got to be real clear-eyed right now about who we are, who our allies are, what our terms of allegiance is. We got to be real on point right now. And you sounded real stupid. Let that skin tone stuff go. You can be white. We got to begin to understand. You can be white. You can have melanin and be white. Because you can have melanin and access whiteness. You come here from a top caste. I don't care whether you come from the top of India or the top of Nigeria. You come here as the white people of your country, and that's how you go. And we see them be like, oh, that's my brother. No. We are a bottom caste here. We are a distinct group with a distinct justice claim. And we ally with allies. But that ain't it. The person who has the mindset of the oppressor or whatever. I'm not saying a nun does, but he comes from a top caste, and I haven't seen him disavow his caste. You can't come over here. See, you came right after your people. We have a lot of people who came right after the Immigration Act and the Civil Rights Act because we had paved the way. But what happens if you come over here and you just do that is that you just eat all the food. So it's like we fought for a bunch of fruit, and then when harvest time came in, you ate it. That's a problem. And it's certainly a problem if I see you as still black as a nun. Like, no, you too wealthy to be like that. It's not even like that you're African. You Indian. No, you got to be over there with what you have excess. You have excess whiteness. It's not like you are a black immigrant and you living in the hood or whatever. And you have an access. No, you're not what you have access elite status. You can't be seen. And Bree can't be having you projecting you or suggesting that you are somehow, well, he's a person of color. No, this person is access whiteness. They have escape hashed out of here. Now they may talk good and whatever else, but they have escape hatch right up out of this thing. Let's be clear on that. Let's be clear on that. You got to tell the truth about who you are. You know what you said is that you understand that we are the most impacted by the sins of America. You got to say that though. And you got to say it with your whole chest. And if you can't say it consistently with your whole chest, there's no reason for you to even be on MSNBC. And we have a lot of people who are on there and they look nice and they shiny and they got nice suits and they got good skin, and white people believe like these people are healthy and they're doing well, so it must be some advantage. And we don't really know how you're living, and we don't know what your life is like. And so now what has to happen with all of us, we got to get rid of all this shame. We can't follow people who say I got marble tables or whatever, who try to shame us into shutting up and feeling like it's our fault. We got to get honest. And so if somebody won't let you tell your authentic story and advocate for your group on TV, then you shouldn't be on TV. We shouldn't be there. We can't advocate for us on there. You should just turn on NBC tomorrow. Ain't nothing but white people. You wonder why? Ain't nothing but white people. Because they won't let us talk. Okay, I understand now. Turn it off. You don't deserve to see us anywhere. It is what it is. If you can't allow us to tell our story and advocate for ourselves, because we haven't moved beyond that. See, when you can just talk regular about politics, that means that you're up here in terms of like what the lines were, right? Let me just put this up one more time. Like if this white line and this black line were real close, then you could just talk. We could just talk, even if they weren't all the way together. We could talk. If one was gaining on the other one, if the black line was gaining on that white green line, we could talk, and we could talk about politics in general. I can't do anything but advocate for myself when the line looks like that. I can't talk about generalities. I can't talk about politics in general. My mama is below the poverty line. If you Tiffany, I can't talk about this stuff. No, I got to advocate for myself. When your line is a flat line, you don't have no choice. You don't have no choice, and you can't include nobody else. You cannot include nobody else in your story. Why? Because when you look at this chart, Indians got the most and they brown. Understand, Indians got more than white people and they brown. Stop it with the melanin stuff. Indians got more than everybody. When you look at that Asian Indian on the bottom, they got more than white people. And you talking about, well, we got to be together because we brown. Shut up. Stop it. You don't make no sense. And if you don't make no sense, sometimes you just got to sit down and shut up and realize what you don't know and fix it. Don't talk to me. Don't yell at me. Don't at me. You better leave me alone. You're going to get your feelings hurt. Stop it. These brown people have more than white people. And you talking about the tie that binds us is being brown. They get more H-1B visas. They come in here, and they don't have any problem. Stop talking about melanin being the stuff, the tie that binds. You sound crazy. While we have 0.2% and whites, they have 220% liquid wealth. Come on. This is too much, people. So I'm going to leave y'all with that. I'm going to go to break, take a couple of minutes to set the phones up. I will be back. And then, as usual, we will have the conversation. So give me a few minutes, fam. I'll be right back. right, fam. We are back. We are back and ready to go. I'm gonna go straight to the phones. Please call us. Please call us. Make it concise. I don't want to keep my people waiting too long. And I don't want to be here too long. I want to only make it like 30 minutes or so people can go to bed. It's midnight. I don't want people to have jobs to go to. I don't want nobody sleepy at work. We know I'll be late. Don't judge me. But anyway, I'm going to my first call. I'm going to 310. 310, what's up?
What up, Yvette? It's Tom Fox.
What's going on?
Let's get right to it. I sent you, I want to start off with the image of Eddie Glaude to go to that Biden picture I sent you. So, I'm going to make a few little points. First thing, Eddie Glaude said this comment, and you see this with, all these people, the Reverend and whatever, Bree or whatever his name is. But let's just talk about Glaude. And everybody, praised him. And I really don't understand not so much why they praise him as much as they understand that this don't mean nothing. So what do I mean? He's on MSNBC and he makes the statement about policy in the black agenda. But he don't say the policy. And the policy is reparations. And the reason why it's important to say the policy is because the policy tells us whether you're coming back to MSNBC. Because what ends up happening is essentially, and if you pull up the actual tweet of Glaude, because I just want to get into that tweet. Everybody praises him for saying what Biden will never deliver. So what are you talking about, bro? And I think you people got to call it like it is. You can't say when Biden basically has shown that he's totally against reparations. When Biden has put black men in prison at rates like no other living politician possibly, you can't turn around and say, well, what about policy? He's not going to give us no policy. So now you just got to say, I'm going to stand on this, that I messed up and I'm wrong. But everybody wants to praise the fact that he said some stuff. It's like basically just making a talking point so you can be able to say, I made a talking point, but not actually advocating for that talking point. That's what just happened. Because if you advocate for the talking point, you basically understand the numbers. Not like theology. We're not doing that here. We're doing economics. If you understand the economics, the chart that Yvette showed earlier with the blue line, it's not a matter of just specific policy about fixing the grass or the park or potholes. It's about fixing blackness in itself. And I don't know if you can do that from MSNBC. See, what I need for everybody to understand is what's happening right now. What's happening right now is that these people are going on this show, often for free, and allowing this network, MSNBC and others, to present a false progress. So the network gets to present diversity. Like black folks got money now, too. It makes it hard for us to do policy because the kind of energy you need in the country to get reparations, to be honest, the kind of energy that you need is you need a whole country to understand how poor we actually are. And for that to happen, I just don't need them on TV. Now, I don't know if black folks individually need this man saying, I don't give a damn if Joe Biden knows us. I want to know what the policies are. We know what the policies are, right, Ben? He don't have none.
Yep.
Or it's going to be really nominal stuff that I'll fix what I already messed up and do some criminal justice. Or some HBCU stuff. You already know who Joe Biden is. I have no idea how you can sit there now and get praised for basically saying something without the end of the rainbow, the pot of gold at the end with this Adolf. But that's what we're doing. I don't know. I'm saying to you, when I look at the chart with the blue line, and can you pull that up again, the blue line? When I look at this chart with this blue line, they keep showing us whites, Hispanics, and blacks. I'll say it again. They keep showing us whites, Hispanics, and blacks. The problem is that you don't anchor it in Adolf. Don't talk about Hispanics are actually coming from a developing country. They're sending money back into that developing country, and the Indians exist. You don't even understand that this chart is lying. It ain't dimensional. It's only telling you half of your. It's not even really telling you that. Look, the black When we talk about ADOS, are people who built America. The Hispanics are people that are coming from a developing world in the last 30 years. The white is actually reliant on the black being down here. So now that brings me to Anon, that brings me to Tiffany Cross. And if you can pull up that LA chart, because I just want to go through that again. One of the things that I think, even in terms of the way you were explaining it, absolutely right. That blacks are on the bottom and that the Indians are not, and how did that happen? But it also doesn't really tell that the whiteness, it requires us to be on the bottom in a way. In communities from we talk about gerrymandering, we talk about prison where essentially prison gerrymandering, we talk about the building of prisons and how that creates jobs, when we talk about pure gerrymandering, when we talk about payday loans, they don't need Indians to fail. See, this chart is telling because I had a woman you can go to the Tiffany Cross thing, she tried to say, well, she's a woman and he's a person of color. And I had to lay her to bed, lay her to rest with that ignorance. No, he is an Indian man and she is an ADOS woman. And it could be an ADOS man and an Indian woman. This is not about gender. See, when you look at this chart, it just brings it, this is the color of wealth, done by Darity and the Federal Reserve out of Los Angeles, also with UCLA, I believe in Duke. I want to make sure everybody understands the 4 different categories. You got median value. This first one, liquid assets, is the top. So the total assets includes the liquid assets. But the liquid assets are basically inside of this. What liquid assets are is your actual money. It's your actual stocks and bonds. It's your actual stuff that you can liquidate easily. Well, when you look at this thing, all the Asians other than Vietnamese and Koreans have tens of thousands of dollars. But black folks, U.S. native blacks, ADOS, have $200. This is Los Angeles. What this next line, this column says is percentage of white household liquid assets. So what they did here, what they set it against, like they make white 110 to 100%. That's the metric, the ruler they're going to use. Well, then they started showing you percentages up and down. So U.S. blacks are only 0.2% of the white household liquid assets. They have $200. You can't be here in be no family. It show up when the coronavirus happened and you need toilet tissue. It show up when you need some medicine, or when you gotta go get out of Florida because of the hurricane and you don't got no gas money. It shows up and when you actually need the stability of being an American family. So when you look all the way down at the bottom, the person that we're seeing, and I'm guaranteeing that Tiffany Cross didn't know this. She didn't know this. And the guy, Anon, he knows of this, but not the specificity. The Asian Indian number is 222% of white. So I think it's an understatement to say that he's white. He's like some kind of super version of white. See, and what you're seeing, and what you don't even add in is that they still also send their money back to a different developing country called India. And they've been doing it for 30 years. See, if you don't travel, you don't really understand. There's another element to his life, which is he's been traveling and using. So how is he in this space of being us in terms of, see, this no longer works in terms of a contrast between white and black. It leaves you holding the bag as an ADOS person, period, bar none. And it allows a bunch of groups that are trafficking on the same oppressive like lines of economics to be able to dip in and out of the cost. Basically, so we know to see a white person a certain way, even if we shouldn't. But then we don't know to see an Indian the same way, and we let him talk about reparations. I'm just saying, when we look at the numbers, whites got 355 in LA, the middle white family. The Indians got 460. But hold on, when it's time for Kamala to run for office, she can say she's black, ADOS, or whatever. She just said anything she want to be. She coming to eat your turkey. I don't know what you guys think happens next. You know, Grubhub and Uber, they here now, and it's a harbinger of what's to come. But I don't know how you stay here and allow everyone from any law to make a statement that's ignorant in the sense of, look, that's not the statement. It's not whether Joe Biden's going to get black policy. It's the fact that now, okay, we're not going to get no policy. Should we vote or not? I don't know how you say that unless Joe Biden has a change. It's kind of like asking Trump for reparations. You don't ask Trump for reparations. He already signaled who he is. He has a career. So you're going to say we need policy from Joe Biden. So now you're going to open up a door for him to do what? HBCUs and criminal justice? And then you're going to want to talk to him and do an interview so you can sit there and do your interview. At the end of the day, what we have right now is a lack of honesty about the social condition of Black America. Black America's collapsed. Adolph's Black America is collapsed. But the thing is, all of y'all, everyone that I know, needs the things that come out of being not just not collapsed, but fundamentally sound and structurally privileged. I don't know how you reconcile that without reparations. I don't know how the girl that climbs the flags, pole for the Confederate flag has to think about DACA and doesn't understand how oppositional that is to reparations. They stand opposed to each other. You can stand on that side of the fence if you want to, but then you can't jump over to this side and start talking about black people are unique. We're not unique. We built America. I just wanted to come in here because my main thing was this chart, while it's just Los Angeles, is a very, very powerful chart to see the difference, because I don't know, Yvette, and I'll leave it at this. I don't know if we understand the difference between a family that has $200 in the bank versus a family that has $245,000 in the bank. I'll leave it at that.
Appreciate it, Tone, as always. And you know what the funniest thing is, like, so you know, it's crazy, like when we say, well, just vote Democratic down ballot. I mean, like, you got local people show up at the polls. You got local people who you want to vote for, whatever, vote for them. But we're not doing Bernie. We're not doing Biden. We're not doing Trump. People say, oh, you're going to give Trump the election. No, like, you all, what y'all offered us, y'all already gave whoever going to get it, and you voted for Trump anyway. White people voted for Trump. Like, we didn't do that. Like, no, don't come to me about costing nobody nothing. Like, you gonna go for the state senator and the city council and the whatever, but I'm not doing all this stuff y'all want me to do. I don't owe you nothing. I don't owe you anything. That's what people got to start. That's what ADOS has to start understanding. We don't owe nobody nothing. They owe us. The other way around. So anyway, I'm going to my next call. I am going to see where we go. I am going to let's go to 301. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind? Oh, Corona. How you doing?
Hello?
Hello, you all right?
Oh, yes, I'm sorry. I thought, how you doing, y'all? Oh, man, I thought it took so long for me to get through on the queue. I thought I was going to be like the last person.
You over there coughing. You feel all right?
Oh, no. Well, thank you for taking my call, Yvette.
No problem.
Over here in PG County. No, so I was just calling in, you know, I'm going to try to not say you know and like on this call, because a lot of people are showing my previous comment. So check this out. So earlier today, I had about 3 conversations with some folks who've been with the ADOS group for you know, at least this last year.
Okay.
You know, and a lot of people are looking to see, you know, well, what are we going to do? Well, it's Democratic down ballot, right? You know, we're saying that we're not going to vote for these people. We're not going to protect them from their political rivals. You know, because they are not showing up with a black agenda undergirded by reparations. Mm-hmm. A lot of people I think they're being taken in by I don't want to call it propaganda, but they're being inundated just constantly with, you know, like when Michael Bloomberg was showing all those ads everywhere. I mean, I'm over here in Maryland, and, you know, we just had a ridiculous amount of his commercials playing everywhere. I'm happy that the majority of us are sticking to our guns and saying, hey, this is what we're going to do. But I am saying to everybody, the reason why I called in is that, you know, you have to talk to your friends and family, especially your family, and you have to reassure them that it's okay that the sky is not falling because people are being nervous. They get super nervous. They think that Bernie Sanders is their best option. But, you really have to listen to these episodes and revisit them, because a lot of people will get right off this live stream and just say, well, why can't we vote for Bernie? Because he's not giving you things that are going to repair your community. He's giving you things that are going to repair white communities and increase that racial wealth gap, so you can't compete in an economic sense in America. We're in a capitalist society. You need capital to compete. Like, that's just it. So that's all I called in for. I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Thank you for taking my call.
No, thank you, fam. I agree with you. I agree with that in the main. Thank you so much for calling in. Thank you so much for calling in. And family, let's take care of ourselves out there in these streets. There's some stuff going on. New viruses and carrying on. Wash your hands. And I know how much I touch my own face now. I don't know how I do. Oh, child. Anyway, I'm going to my next caller. I'm going to 704. 704, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, Yvette, it's Lori from Charlotte, North Carolina.
Hey, Lori, how are you?
I'm good. I'm not going to be too long, but I just want to talk about POC, people of color.
Okay, now.
What do you think about that C? Because I hate to hear it as well. I think the C needs to be changed to choice. People of choice, because ADOS, we're the only group that are not here by choice. Even when you talk about DACA, if they weren't first generation choice, they're choice through lineage. So if we want to change the conversation about people of color, start talking about it and saying people of choice, or people who chose to be here. Because in some way, whether it was, individually or through lineage, they're here by someone's choice, except for ADOS.
On whether your own choice or whatever, yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. That's interesting. I think that works. I think that works, and I think it works as long as you take me out of there. Too. Take me out of there. Stop putting me in. I don't know what knucklehead decided to let's just include all the brown people. I mean, it's good for everybody else. It's just not good for us because we made it. And then all the brown people who are included just piggyback upon us, like what Reverend Barber did. Well, King was alive today. Did you talk to King? How old are you? Did he tell you that? So how do you know? So I agree with you. Like, no, you made a choice. That's the thing. Like, well, I'm brown and I suffer discrimination. Yeah, but you came here voluntarily. We didn't come here voluntarily, and we made life better for you. Thank you, please. So I agree with you. You're people of choice. Like, you came here, you decided to come here. You knew it was racist when you came, but you knew it was better because of what had happened and what we done. The Immigration Act, you knew it was better. You knew someone you could take advantage of. But you made a choice to come here. You act like you and me are the same. We got brought here in the bottom of slave ships, and then we mixed up and all that stuff. And you came here because you saw an opportunity. We're not the same. That's why it's so horrible that we have allowed people to flatten us like this. It's really a problem. So I agree with you, Carl.
Exactly. And so that's what I'm thinking. People of choice will automatically set black people or ADOS apart because we are the only group that are not here by choice. And that's all I wanted. Again, thank you to you and Tone for what you do. You're revolutionary, and I'm always thankful for you.
Thank you, fam. I appreciate that. Yeah, people of choice. You came here by choice. So let's just call everybody that who comes here by choice. Like, I don't care whether you are Russian or you Slovenian or Czechoslovakian or whether you are El Salvadorian or whether you're Honduran. You people of choice. Let's call all y'all that then. And we'll be over here as ADOS. You don't get to be, I'm this, I'm that. No. You people of choice. You came by, that's what you are. Right? So, people of choice immigrants. That's what you are. We over here. Just make me a distinct group. Take me out of that stuff that y'all got going on. Can you do that? I sure would appreciate it. Anyway, I am going now to 757. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
My name is Daniel, calling from Norfolk, Virginia.
Hey, Daniel, what's going on?
Hello. Oh, how you doing, Yvette? I was just listening to you. You a Bison, right?
Yes.
I'm a Spartan. You coming to the tournament tomorrow?
No.
No.
I'm not going to no
That's the
tournament.
place you should be. Huh?
I'm not going to no tournament now. What's your question? I'm not going to no tournament.
Well, my question is, I listen at you talk.
Okay.
I believe you should get reparations. But I'm going to say that you're not going to get it, right? Democrats not going to give you anything. But
deal with the why, though. Deal with the why. Deal with the why. Why you dealing with that? Deal with the why they not going to give. Deal with the why. Why you dealing with the Democrats ain't gone. Deal with the why.
Because they've never given you anything in 55 years.
No, but what have we been doing in those 55 years? I'm just asking.
They've been still begging.
No, we
You've
ain't.
been asking the Democrats.
No, we haven't.
And
No, we
let me say,
haven't. We ain't been doing nothing.
Yvette, can I say something?
I'm gonna give you
Why
1
you
minute.
talk
I'm
about
gonna give you
wealth all
1 minute.
the
I'm
time?
gonna give you 1 minute talking, 1 minute for me to respond. That's fair.
Okay.
Okay.
What I wanted to ask you to say, I'm just going to say, you talk about wealth all the time, but you never talk about power. Why you don't talk about power?
I'm giving you a minute to talk.
You have power, right? Huh?
I'm gonna give you a minute to talk before I answer. So just talk.
Well, I'm saying, why do you never talk about power? You have power. Power is better than wealth, right? Is that correct?
I'm giving you a minute to talk, sir. You're not a prosecutor. I'm not on trial.
What I'm saying is, you don't have any power in the Democratic Party.
You don't have any in the Republican Party. What power you got?
You gonna make up, huh?
What power you got in the Republican Party? What power you got? I tried to give you a
have
minute to
power
talk.
in what you said the other day. I'm saying that you were talking about create your own pack, but why don't you be independent?
I didn't say create. I didn't say
Own
create.
organization.
I didn't say create your own pack. I'm not a fan of creating your own pack. I'm not a proponent of that.
But I'm saying, why aren't you a fan for being your own boss?
Oh, it's due for self-realism.
You know, you got an
again.
organization, you got people, and your people give you power. You can go to the Democrats and tell them, say, I demand this. Well, and if you don't do that, you got to go to Trump.
Let me ask you something.
If
Can
you
you
don't
count?
use your power,
Can you count?
yeah.
Can you count? Okay. If you can count, you know, I have 70,000 plus subscribers on YouTube, right? If you can count,
Right.
tell me what percentage of that of the black population in Black America. If you can count, you know that's negligible.
But you're speaking for black Americans, right?
No. Answer my question
So I'm
first.
saying
I've answered at least 2 of your questions. Answer my question. No, answer my question though. Like, what percentage of black Americans am I influencing when you look at my subscriber count? 73,000 is not power.
You influence a lot of black people.
A lot is not a number. Never was. No, some isn't either.
Well, I'm saying if you got 73,000, you influence 73,000 people.
Yeah, and what is that in proportion of black America? As a whole.
But what is that in proportion to votes? But what I'm saying is, what is that in proportion to votes?
Not a lot, sir.
You get something for your votes. It's a lot.
No, it's not.
You have the power of influence. You have the power of influence.
73 ain't a lot in nobody's book.
You see, why you doubting yourself?
I'm not doubting myself. No, hold on. I'm not doubting myself. I'm doubting you. Like, see, here's the thing. I'm not doubting myself. What I'm saying is that there's not enough wind at my back. We have done everything we can with 73,000. We put reparations on the table with 73,000 subscribers.
Wait a minute.
I don't know whether you was in there with us or not, sir. You sound like you like to do a lot of quarterback, a lot of quarterbacking.
Yvette.
Monday morning quarterback.
Stop a minute.
I tried to give you a
remember
whole
the
minute.
girl Shireen Mitchell on MSNBC?
What about her?
You remember her?
Yeah,
Shireen
I remember
Mitchell.
her.
They call you a Russian bot. The DNC censors you heavy. They own Twitter. They own Facebook. They own all of them. They call you Russian bots. If you didn't have that power, they wouldn't be that scared of you. These Democrats are scared to death of you.
But let me tell you why. Hold on. We're going to go back and forth. They're not just scared of me. They're scared of me and ADOS and our potential. What I'm telling you is that we have not gone far enough yet to actualize our potential. We could take over this whole party, but we have not gone far enough to actualize our potential.
You don't have any faith.
Oh, stop it. Listen, don't BS me, sir. Listen, don't BS me. Don't BS me. I don't like the BS. I've had it. No. Wait a minute. Let me finish. We're gonna go back and forth. You know how to have a conversation, don't you? I talk, you talk. I talk, you talk. I talk, you talk. I talk, you talk. That's how it goes. You let me finish. I'm gonna let you finish.
I'm listening.
Okay. Let me tell you about faith. Let me talk to you about faith, Playboy. Since you want to criticize me, I have been in this space 10 years doing this. That's faith. Only on faith, not on money. I've been conned. I've been scammed. I've been here 10 years regardless. Where have you been? You don't get to tell me who I am and what I am not. No, let me finish. Let me finish a sentence. I'm not going to cut you off. You don't get to tell me what I don't have. You don't get to do that. Now, what you do get is to support in whatever capacity you can support. Whether that's a chapter, whether that's you in your own community, but you don't get to tell somebody who has sacrificed for the past 10 years being in a space that is not I have taken nothing but arrows in this space. You don't get to tell me what I don't have, sir.
Let me say this.
Your last word. This is your last word. Make it good.
Do you know that Trump gave the HBCUs $250 million?
Yes, I do.
Permanently for every year for this.
Yes, I do.
The Democrats have given blacks nothing. Obama cut 28,000 Pell Grants to where people couldn't go to Norfolk State. I was among the first to tell people that. I knew that when it happened too, and I told everybody, and they told me to kiss their butt. So I know that too. Yep. But what I'm saying is that the HBCUs need money. That's what I'm interested in. And what I'm saying is that you have power. The power of telling the Democrats, this is, I'm going to take my people and vote for Trump.
No. I'm gonna get okay. I'm gonna let you finish. But you're giving the threat. I'm gonna let you finish.
You're giving the threat, huh?
No, I don't work that way.
You will never have anything. You don't know the art of war.
No, well, you don't have anything. No, you don't have anything either. Like somebody who doesn't have anything can't tell me I'm not gonna have anything. You don't have anything either. Like if you have built something. Like you haven't built anything, sir. You haven't. What movement have you built? You don't get to tell me that.
You don't know what I built.
You ain't said what you built. What you build? Tell me then. You got 30 seconds, sir. And we finished.
How much wealth do you have?
I ain't got no money.
You ain't got no money. Well, my wife and I, we just gave $100,000 to Norfolk State. You can come check it anytime you feel like it.
Let me tell you something. I appreciate. I'm sure. Let me tell you. No. I think. Wait. I'm sure Norfolk State appreciates that, and I think you did a good thing if you did that. But let me tell you. This is. Hold on. This is a new America. $100,000 ain't no money. That's the kind of America we live in. I'm telling you, when you look at Johns Hopkins and Harvard, they got multi-billion-dollar.
Blacks with money. I was just calling you because you got a platform.
No,
you got the power to influence. You have a lot of power, but you don't know how to use it.
Oh, you use it then. No.
Know how to use it.
No, and you have $100,000 you sent to Norfolk. I think you should be able to build your platform and use it. If you can do it better than use it, let me tell you. No. The only thing. No. You don't know what you're talking about. This is idiocy.
Talking about wealth. If I have power, I can take your wealth even though you have money.
You don't got no power, sir. Oh gosh.
Huh?
You don't have power. What do you know about power?
I have power in the spirit that I reign in.
Where?
I don't have to go to white people and ask them for nothing.
Listen, let me tell you something. Hold on, wait. Trump is about to cut 700,000 people off food stamps. That includes black people. What is the power? So I'm going to run to Trump, who's cutting black people off food stamps, and I'm going to run to him to do what? That's your idea of power.
Trump. You are saying, how many people did Trump get out of jail with the first step? How much is the opportunity to zone? I'm gonna tell you what we got in Norfolk.
No, I know what opportunity. I don't need to hear from you about opportunity zones. I don't need to hear from you about. I don't need to. No. I don't need to hear from you about opportunity zones. I know opportunity zones are a scam. It's the place to hold white wealth. I don't need to hear from you about opportunity zones.
Scam. We got 6 houses going up here. I can go build a house now. I got friends building.
I don't care.
But you know what?
It's still a place to have wealth.
To come in and buy. White folks are coming in and buying the houses.
Of course they got money. What you think gonna buy the house? Who you think gonna buy the house? What's wrong with you?
They don't have no house because they do a lot of talking, but they don't do anything.
I hate these old people sometimes. Like you get on my nerves. You really work my nerves. Like because let me no because only no let me finish. The only thing you do is call and berate people. That's all y'all are good at. No, you only berate people. That's what you're good at. You only tell younger people what they didn't do. I donated this. I donated that. You could have built a platform. You could have done politics. I bet you didn't.
What are you doing for the people that listen to you, that follow you? Are you better
Listen,
than
let me tell you something. Opportunity zones are, let me tell you something. I'm not, listen, I'm not going to be talked over by you. I'm going to tell you that right now. I will drop your call. You're not going to talk over me. I don't care how much money you got. You ain't special to me.
But I'm saying
you special to, no, wait. No, you going to shut up today, sir. You going to shut up while you're talking to me. No, wait a minute.
People that are following you, just wait.
I muted you because you're not going to talk over me. See, this is the problem with this generation of people. He hung up because these people, like, you're never gonna talk down to me. That's never gonna happen. I don't owe you anything, old man. Here's the thing. If you had understand what he's saying. We know that opportunity zones are Trump tax cuts. That's what they are. I don't care if you as a black man or whoever has made money off of them, it's a place to put white capital. But you believe because you individually have done well with that in some kind of way, and you say stupid stuff like, well, it's only the white people who are buying them. Well, of course it's the white people who are buying them. The white people have money. You're disconnected from the people that you want to lead. And let me just say this also. Is Trump giving billions to companies and wealthy and carving out like this targeting to like this group, targeting the ghettos, but it will be whites who go get the houses. So it doesn't make any sense for you to say to me, well, you know what? It's only whites getting these houses. How do you not know that? And then you say, well, Yvette, you just giving people data. Yeah, I give people data so they understand that what you're saying is stupid. And let me just say this too. Like all of these older people who call in, you had an opportunity to lead politically. Like you don't get to call in now and tell me, well, Yvette, you're not doing this. You have influence. You should do this. You had a chance to do it. And what you did is you made a choice. You made a choice not to do what I'm doing. So you made a choice not to advocate for your people, but to enrich yourself, right? And so when you got enough, you went and gave some money to Norfolk, if that's true. I don't know what that's true because Negroes tell lies. But if you made a choice to go and I'm going to take some of that money and do that. But I bet you any Negro that got $100K to give Norfolk got a bunch of money for himself. You chose to enrich yourself. And instead of advocating in politics, you chose at a dinner to come back and tell me what I should be doing. No, you could have done this yourself. You don't get to armchair quarterback me about what I'm doing. Lead your own movement. Do your own thing. Live your best life. Live your best life. Because, you could have done this. YouTube been around. You could have did city council. You got money, right? You could have run for your local dog catcher, your local city council. You could have done all of this. But the truth of the matter is, honestly, sir, you don't understand power either. Right? I understand power. I know that you need, since we don't have money, you have to have wind at your back. You have to have people. We've done the most we can do with 73,000. I think Tone has 70,000 or some odd subscribers, and a lot of those subscribers overlap. And with that, we have made reparations a national conversation. What have you done politically but sit around and bump your gums and make yourself rich by taking advantage of Republican policies and agenda just for yourself as an individual, but not for you taking advantage of stuff for yourself as an individual, but you haven't been concerned about collective uplift in the extent to which to do it politically. You've done it in terms of giving a donation. That's great. But what you don't understand, because you haven't kept up with the times, is that schools have multi-billion-dollar endowment funds now. And we don't have, the middle black family is worth $1,700. So just because you did that, you have to have a group that's able to do that. You have to have a class of people that's able to do that consistently to keep a number of HBCUs going. But you don't know that. So you want to call here and holler and scream and whatever, or cut me off or whatever. And I don't do that. I don't get cut off on my own show. I'm not going to do that. Who are you? You're nobody to me. So anyway, fam, going to the next call. That man wasted enough of my time. Anyway, I am going to 917. What's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Man, Yvette.
What's up?
The call now.
What's going on?
That caller had me. Listen, that caller was messed up my buzz, man. Messed up my buzz. Oh, man.
They know everything, fam. They know it all. Gosh, and they wonder why you say this about us. You know it all. Stop trying to act like you know it. You don't even know our lives and how we have to live. But go on, fam.
Man, it's so funny though, because it's like all the boomers that think like him have the same mindset and have the same talking point. It's like there's a big difference between older people that become elders and older people that just get older.
just age. You just aged. And you don't understand timing. You don't understand he also understands he also, people like that don't understand what like made their lives possible, right? So you don't understand that like you benefited from affirmative action. You were alive during a time where white people were actually trying to do something for black people because of what happened to King, and they had programs or whatever. You let all that go, because I can guarantee you this man didn't do anything politically. So you let all of that fail, and then when we're dealt with the failure, you're like, well, I tell you, you don't understand power. You have influence, and you should just vote for Trump. And you're like, you can't be a reflexive person. Well, do this, do that. If it ain't A, it's B. If it ain't B, it's A. No, sometimes you have to be more creative than that. And I don't think they understand that. But go on, Carl. I'm sorry.
No, you good, because it just echoes back to a conversation. I was just having a conversation this week, because there's this talking point, especially in New York, all the time from those boomers and from people that, believe in striverism. They always talk about when the brownstones in Harlem was $1. They always go to that, and that's the reason why we don't own anything, and that's what's really holding black people back. When it was $1, we should have went and bought them up. And what they don't tell is the rest of that story. Like you said, a lot of those people that did get a chance to buy, some of them benefited from affirmative action and all those programs that were truly just for ADOS, because ADOS was the main group here. But what they don't say is that, the brownstone was $1, but what came with that is the clause that you had to renovate it, and those renovations was starting at $30,000. Now, what ADOS person that during that time, or even during this time, has tens of thousands of dollars just sitting around they could have used to renovate those properties?
Nobody.
They would have bought those brownstones for $1 and had to sell them right back or take out a loan, and when it's defaulted, they lose everything.
Exactly.
So they don't tell the entire story.
Never do. They never told the entire story. They just sit around and he sound like he been sitting around reading 48 laws. Oh no, what did he say? He read the not 48 laws, because that's the thing Negroes in jail like. It was something else. I don't know what that is, but it was something else he said he read. You didn't read Sun Tzu, whatever he said, the power of the war, but whatever. It's just like, it's so like, I feel like sometimes stuff is so weird. Like, what is this? Like, what did he say? The Art of War. Yeah, you didn't read The Art of War. I actually have the book. I have read The Art of War. Like, it's funny how people make so many assumptions. I'm pretty well read. I've read that. Doesn't fit what you're saying. But we're not on the battlefield. We're not samurais. We're not a whole lot of stuff. We don't have to go to left flank and go to right and then outweigh your enemy. No, you don't understand your enemy. And that's what we deal with. We deal with, like, sometimes we deal with older blacks, who don't understand the enemy, how everything has, like, how time is sped up. Time is really sped up. And so, like, oppression ain't what it was when you were younger. Like, it ain't 1962 no more. You didn't speed up. You did good during that period because of, what King did, right? But, like, the Art of War doesn't fit where we are, especially as this minority group. And you don't understand how we have to move. Like, I don't think people really understand it. And I don't think they really give time to understand it, because they think that, like, I already know. And we got too many people that believe, like, I already know. So I'm going to let you finish, Carl. I'm sorry.
All right. Now, listen, you ain't got to keep apologizing. You know how we do. But I wanted to talk about this double-mindedness from action. Let's get back on topic. And it's been going around a lot of places now. I've been looking around and seeing everybody adopting our talking points. You know what I'm saying? From Charlemagne the God in that interview with Angela Rye that we talked about, that you spoke about, you referenced. And then you had Karen Hunter. I just saw the clip today.
Okay.
She and this black woman she had there, and Drew, her co-host, they were talking about a black agenda, and the clip is 15 minutes long, and the entire clip they don't mention reparations one time. And then at the end of supposedly brainstorming a black agenda, they're talking about class-based initiatives, and we know class-based don't fix race-based harm done. And then on top of that, they ask the question at the end of the clip, well, is Biden going to be able to get that done? And it's like, we already know who Biden is and what Biden ain't. And so it's like, you don't mention reparations on a conversation about a black agenda, and then you asking, can Biden get it done? It doesn't even make any sense.
Yeah, doesn't make no sense. You're right. You're right, fam. You're right. I appreciate it, fam. Thank you for calling. I'm going to try to get a couple more calls in. Appreciate it, fam, as always. Try to get a couple more calls in here. The fellow took a lot of time. See, I've been trying to get him in, get him out. People just take it down. Anyway, so I'm going to try to fit in a couple more calls. I'm going to go to 215 first. 215, what's your name? Where you calling from? What's on your mind?
Hey, Yvette. My name is Morgan. How are you?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm good. I called in before. You know, I get excited when I talk to you. Old head is crazy. Let's not worry about him. My mom is 67 years old. Okay. I share her videos with you. So it's not like that population just, is. I think they get it. It just takes a little more time. So we have the time.
We keep trying. We'll give them the time. We keep trying.
I just had to say a couple things. I think that what we're seeing when these black pundits on TV now are starting to change what they've been saying might be a little bit of like them looking into themselves and recognizing the language of their lineage and like really saying to themselves, that is me. But when you're fed Pan-Africanism and we have this inherent responsibility to be above and beyond reproach of any kind of discrimination, it's hard to get there. I feel like that's what I see. I don't know if anybody else sees it like that, and I'm just trying not to come from a place where it's just like they're just all bad, Well,
no, I don't think that either. I we had some boomers and stuff at the ADOS conference, and we have some in the chat, and so I don't, and I've heard from some, so I don't go from the perspective that they're all bad. I don't go from that perspective. And I think the ones who understand are really, but a lot of the ones who understand have always been kind of working towards a goal. Whereas the ones who don't, the ones who don't understand are the ones who are just like, I got mine, you get yours. And if you don't get yours, you must be lazy. But the ones who do understand, like they have always been, like if you talk to them, like they've always been kind of conscious. Like they've never been unconscious. And so like to me, kind of that's a specific group of boomers and silent generation people that have always kind of accessed information in a specific way. But I don't think that's all of them. No, I don't. And I've heard from boomers who will tell me like I keep trying to reach my friends and I have problems with them. So it's not just us trying to reach them, it's other boomers trying to reach them.
Right. I'm going to put my prediction out there for this whole campaign and what's going to happen. I feel like Trump is definitely going to win. He's going to win because he motivated the same people on the white side the way Obama did on the black side. And these people who never came out to vote before are going to come out to vote again, and he's going to win. And with that, it's going to leave the black side in this country angry because they didn't get what they thought they were supposed to get. And aftermath of Trump in the next 4 years, the white side. And the clash is going to have to come. It's just going to have to come. I don't think people are going to have time and people are going to get it because there's so many deflections going on. Okay. But at the end of the day, people are going to be out here hungry and starving, and we can't go anywhere. We can't go to Canada. We can't do any of that. So something's going to have, something's going to have to happen. Something's just going to have to give, and they know it.
Okay. All right, fam. Thank you. I appreciate it. Something's got to give. All right. Something's got to give. I appreciate it, fam. I think I'll stick with that part. Something's got to give. I'm going down to 773. 773. What's going on?
What's going on, Yvette? This Marlon.
Not too much, Marlon. What's up?
What's going on, man?
What's up with you?
Man, listen. I want to make a couple points, then I want to announce a candidate forum we're having tomorrow. Okay. I hope to get some folks to come out. But on the first point, the boomer that called in, and like you said, all boomers aren't like that.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of boomers in Chicago that are just riders, ADOS riders, but the ones that aren't, they just aren't. But, it seems like we sometimes have to go back to ADOS basics sometimes, because I don't think people really grasp the fact that we're locked at the bottom. So I'll just give you an example. For me, I'm a veteran.
Okay.
And I get some privileges for being a veteran. One of the privileges I get is I don't have to pay a down payment for when I get ready to purchase a home. That's one of the privileges you get as an honorably discharged veteran. So just recently, I'm, in the market looking to buy a piece of property.
Okay.
And I was looking to buy a multiple unit piece of property. And so with my veteran certificate, I don't have to pay a down payment. So for instance, let's just say hypothetically the property was a 4-unit, cost $400,000. Typically, you'd have to pay about a 10% down payment. So generally, you'd have to have about $40,000 as a down payment to purchase this property. Well, I don't have to do that as a vet, so that's a privilege for me. Well, the loan officer I was dealing with told me I don't have to pay the down payment, but if I were to buy, I could buy a single family home, but if I wanted to buy a multiple unit, like a 4-unit or something like that, an income producing property, even though I don't have to pay the down payment, I still have to have 6 months reserve of whatever the monthly mortgage payment is in my account. So, for instance, if the monthly mortgage payment is $2,000, I wouldn't have to pay the down payment, but I'd have to have $12,000 in my account as reserve just to purchase the property, even though I don't have to pay the down payment. So, even with that privilege, I don't have $12,000 sitting around.
No.
So even with that,
I said no. No.
Yeah. So even with that privilege, with that ability not to have to pay a down payment, I can purchase a single family home. But if I want to purchase an income producing property, I'm still stuck at the bottom. I'm still locked out. And most of my peers would look at me as somebody who's doing okay. I live in a decent part of town, etc. But I'm still stuck at the bottom. I still can't compete like a typical American should be able to compete. And I don't think people get that.
Well, and not only that, like when you talk about a multifamily, like the thing that you would need to like produce additional income, right? So I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna use my veterans thing to like produce additional income, not just like get out myself. I'm gonna use it to come up. No. We got a barrier. We got a barrier right here for like coming up, right? So you can't use it to come up, And that's what.
And let me tell you,
go ahead, Mom. I'm sorry.
And the money, and he also told me that the money can't be borrowed. It can't, like I can't get it from a credit card. I can't get a loan. It can't be given to me. It has to be shown as have been in my account for a certain amount of time. In other words, it has to come from a job or something like that. It's crazy.
So you can't even go around and borrow money from like family or something and say, let me get this together. No, it's got to be like showing it's coming from stocks or a W-2 or something, and it's consistent, and it's your account been at this certain level for a long time.
Yeah, I told him, I said, well, what if the money was under my mattress? He said, well, we have an overlay that says just that. It can't be mattress money. So even if I was boomer hooked, yeah, it's crazy. So even if I was boomer hooked and I had a boomer that had a few dollars, I couldn't even go to the boomer to get the money to purchase the income producing property.
But you know how you could? You know how you could though, Marlon? If you had a boomer that had given you like some stocks, right? See, that's how they be moving now. So they'll give you like, these are your stocks. Now I'm handing you these stocks over. So the stocks, the dividends from the stocks are in your account. They go to your account. If you want to get that dividend or whatever, it goes to your account consistently, right? So then you could get it. That's how they move. So they don't give it to you in cash like the man we talked to, like they give it to them in stocks and stuff. Or if you're a company owner, you own a company, you have a kid, you just pay him a salary, even though he don't really work, he just do stuff, you pay him. Yeah, he in there and he looked like he been really working. They got all kind of maneuvers and stuff that we don't have. And so, I don't even know what people think we doing. We just out here swinging our butts in the wind.
Our boomers ain't got stocks or businesses, so we just stuck at the bottom.
Yeah, we just stuck here.
Just got to deal with it.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
And you know,
if you read The Art of War, you understand.
Right before you, yeah, it's crazy. I don't think people get it. But and to the point you made about people of color, like near the end of the show, you know, we do our monthly orientations in Chicago. And in opening up our presentation, one of our first slides kind of is a ground rules slide, so it sets the tone for the presentation. And one of the things we say is, because our presentation is kind of interactive, so we say in the ground rules there is no cursing, meaning you can't curse during the presentation for the audience. And generally people think we're talking about, you know, your typical 4-letter curse words, but we're not talking about the 4-letter curse word. We reveal what the curse words or restricted terms are, and those terms are people of color, black and brown, women of color, minority, diversity, etc. And so then we explain why these are restricted terms. And what we say is, in times past, the Republican Party used a policy of benign neglect during the Nixon administration. And it was a way to, you know, benignly or nicely neglect black people, and which would ultimately end up harming black folks. So they didn't have to use disparaging terms. They didn't have to be physically violent. They just came up with these terms like forced busing and conservatism and small government and states' rights. And these terms ultimately ignored and harmed black communities. Well, we say that the terms people of color, black and brown, etc., women of color, minority, and all those terms like that, we say these are the Democratic Party's version of benign neglect.
Oh, yeah.
And so, these are words for us in Chicago. These are words that we restrict in our presentation, and it's because, again, these are words that the Democratic Party have created to dilute and ignore what's about. I think people need to get that.
That's true. I think that's true. Like, language is important. And I think changing our language and how we speak and how we communicate to each other and about each other is very important. So I think that's absolutely important, Marlon.
Yeah. And one last thing. Tomorrow we're having a candidate forum. So we have the Illinois Supreme Court candidates coming out, a few of them.
Okay.
The Ward Wick candidates, a first congressional district candidate, and the county clerk candidate coming out as well. And it's going to be at the Avalon Community Church at 8100 South Dante from 7 to 9 o'clock. Doors open at 6:30. So 8100 South Dante, the Avalon
Where you
Community
at, Marlon?
Church,
What city you in? I know, but I'm just asking you to tell.
You say what?
I said, where you at? Because you give people a street and they don't know, like, that's Marlon in the shop.
Yeah, it's 8100 South Dante. 8100 South Dante. So the Avalon Community Church. So if you're in Chicago and you're free tomorrow evening, come on out and come meet the candidates and kick it with the family.
All right, appreciate it, Marlon. I'm finna get out of here. Get out of here for somebody call and tell me I don't understand power no more. I appreciate you, fam. Thank you so much as always for calling in. Fam, that's gonna be it. We will be back though. We will be back. If you didn't get through today, don't worry. We're gonna keep people from talking so much. He talked a long time, talk over you, change the whole energy of the show. Oh, they act up. But anyway, fam, that is it for tonight. If you didn't get through, we got another one coming, so don't worry about it. We'll get you in there. Let me see what I was gonna say. Oh, please hit that like button before you leave. Don't forget that on the 26th, which is a Thursday, we have a Monday show, a Wednesday show, a Thursday show for the book club, The Color of Money, Black Banks and the Racial Wealth Gap. Please do not forget that. We will be discussing that book. Please do not forget. You can go to donatebrown.com. If you want a shirt, you can go to adosmerch.com. If you want if you want to donate consistently, you can go to patreon.com/ycarnell. But hitting that like button and hitting the subscribe button costs you no money. Subscribe to brown.com costs you nothing. You can do that, no money, and we will appreciate it. I will appreciate it. It's 2,000 people in there. I only have 1.3K likes. So if you can hit that like button, that'll be great. Like that more than anything. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you. And hit that bell. If you have not hit that bell to get notifications, I know, like I said, it'll be messing up, but hit the bell anyway. Hit the bell and try to get notifications. Sometimes it does right. Sometimes it does wrong. That's just how we live life. Just sometimes stuff be right and sometimes stuff be wrong. That's just how we live. So anyway, fam, thank you all for tuning in. It was an interesting conversation. If you didn't get the chance to talk or holler, we will try to next time. I will try to next time to take more calls and end a little sooner and all kinds of stuff. But anyway, fam, finish your libations or whatever you needed for the evening. And we will talk next time. Be easy breezy.